nobody on this road that can save your soul. Almost lost control now. Tell me what you need in a friend and now. Pray that we endure to the end again. I'm just saying that I'm here for you. When the world turn against you, I'ma be with you. Got my sword in my hand, you can count on me. I won't run and hide, fight mightily.
Waiting on your O.F.I. See the Jacob, I'm the apple of my father's eye. I learned the truth for who I was and it made me cry. If I don't keep the laws of Yah, then I'm gonna die. Living curses, but I'm edifying in my verses. Prepare the hearses for the heathens who be steady learning.
First and foremost, want to give all praises, glory, and honor to the Most High God, whose name is Yahweh, the Ancient of Days. We do so by Shema Mashek Womalak Yahushai. To the 12 tribes that scattered abroad, greetings to the hopeful elect, going in, day out, right, in this wicked world, trying to abstain and overcome all manners of temptation, all manners of wickedness, all manners of just things that may be vexing your spirit as you go through this thing that we call life, right, and this captivity of the Edomites, right, through the oppression, through the ups, through the downs, through the joy, through the sorrow, through the pain. Just thanking the Most High that his mercy endureth forever. Tonight, we're going to get into a brief lesson on Manna Mondays in regards to friendships, loyalty, trust, being dependable, being reliable. A lot of people aren't reliable, and a lot of people have a false expectation of reliability. You know, they're not reliable, they're not dependable themselves, but here they are hoping and wishing, for lack of better words, that other people will be reliable and dependable for them. So tonight we're going to get into certain key things that biblically are examples of how to be loyal and of how to identify traits of disloyalty. Oftentimes you may have someone who you think is your friend, or you think who has your best intentions at heart, but those very people are conniving, ravenous wolves in sheep's clothing. And Yahushua told us to beware of these ravenous wolves that come to you, right, like they're your friends, but they're really wolves in sheep's clothing, right? I'm gonna get the book of Matthew chapter 7 and verse 15, and it reads, beware of false prophets, which come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. So a lot of people have inward wickedness. A lot of people have inward, how do I say? A lot of people have ulterior motives, and those ulterior motives are oftenly never exposed until it's too late. And by the time that you realize what their true intentions are, unfortunately, it may just be too late. You know, you may be already in a deep situation and where you're depending on them, or Lord forbid, it may cost you your life. So these lessons are very important for us to not only realize how to be reliable as friends, as brothers, as sisters, but how to also recognize disloyalty. All right. And Yahushua warned us about these disloyal behaviors as well in the book of Matthew, the 24th chapter. I'm going to start with verse 12. It's the book of Matthew, chapter 24 and verse 12. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And that's a thing in building friendships, is you have to be of a loving spirit, of a caring spirit. You know, there's a lot of people who don't know how to foster healthy relationships, whether it's friendships or whether it's on an intimate level, because they're cold-hearted. Now, they may have gone through certain traumas or situations where they have their guards or their walls up, or they may just be wicked. You know, they may have a wicked spirit that's vexing them, and they're cold-hearted. They don't know how to love. They don't know how to have mutual respect and endearment for even life, right? We see this happen a lot of times in parental and children relationships, where someone may grow up, and they may grow up in a certain type of household where it was just bitter, cold. It was a lot of turmoil. It was a lot of hatred. It wasn't an environment of love, right? And naturally, because of that, a lot of those people don't know how to love. They don't know how to, care for other people. They don't know how to be unselfish, right? And you have to be able to recognize these things. You have to be able to take the writing on the wall. You have to be able to see the forest through the trees, as they say. If it walk like a duck, if it quack like a duck, if it swim like a duck, 9 times out of 10, it's a duck. So you have to be able to take heed to the warnings and not be so simple-minded or naive and gullible that you're overthrown by your own judgment because you can't see that such and such doesn't have your best interest at heart. Or you may be one of those people who have a difficulty fostering healthy relationships and friendships because you don't know what it means or what it takes to be reliable. You don't know what it means or what it takes to be dependable. You don't know what it means or what it takes to be, to be able to understand what someone is going through and to be able to offer unbiased, unselfish friendship, right? So when Yahushua said, and because iniquity shall abound, that's because sin shall be increased on the earth, that the love of many shall wax cold. So this is why there's not a lot of, if you think about this world nowadays, like you can't even really trust the people that you say are your friends. You have men sleeping with other men's wives. You have sisters sliding on the side of other sisters' husbands. You have brothers backstabbing each other, sisters backstabbing each other over money, over status, over social media. You have all different types of things. It's hard to find people who you can trust. And that's why, how much more in this truth shall we make sure that we are walking according to righteousness, and that we're being and becoming, Lord willing, dependable for one another. All right. And you got to think about a lot of people who are non-dependable are because they have piss poor morals and ethics. Where are your ethics? Ethics should be the foundation to govern what type of friend you are. Are you a moral friend or are you an unmoral friend? All right, let's get Psalms 12 and 1. Let's get the book of Psalms, chapter 12. Psalms 12 and 1. To the chief musician upon Sheminith, a psalm of David. Help, Yahweh, for the godly man ceaseth, for the faithful fail from among the children of men. It's not a lot of godly people these days. You try to develop a friendship with somebody who's of the world, they don't have the same morals as you in this truth. They don't have the same biblical foundation. So they're subject to do things that you might think are out of line. You might think are as treacherous, but they don't hold those things as being treacherous or disloyal or wicked, because you guys you're unequally yoked. So David is saying here, look, help God. The godly people who have moral aptitude, all right? People who have a sense of respect. And morality can come into a lot of different folds. Morality will come into how you treat one another. But more importantly, or as important, morality is an internal thing. It's like, where do you hold yourself at in terms of what's right and what's wrong? How far are you willing to go to be wicked? How far are you willing to go to be righteous? These are moral foundations that if you're not biblically based in the truth of the Bible, you're not going to have good morality. All right. You're not going to have good morality. Now, when you think about in these last days, there's a lot of, I'm going to get to 2 Timothy. Get to 2 Timothy 1:3. Let me get to 2 Timothy. I think 1 through 5. So 2 Timothy, Salakia, chapter 3. I'm going to start from the top. I know this also, that in the last days perilous times shall come. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truce breakers, false accusers, incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasure more than lovers of God, having a form of godliness, the church, but denying the power thereof, from such turn away. So this is clearly giving you a long list of people that would not make good friends, a long list of characteristics that you should avoid being called or being known as, exhibiting these type of characteristics yourself. Traitors, man, a lot of people aren't trustworthy. You have to ask yourself. I want to get this quick precept that came to mind in Proverbs, that a man who is friendly wants to be friendly must be friendly themselves. Proverbs 18:24. A man that hath friends must shew himself friendly, and there's a friend that sticketh closely to a brother, closer than a brother, my bad. So this goes into, you might have friends, or you might have people that are not literally your biological family, but they're more dependable, they're more trustworthy than people who are your biological family. And I mean biological in the sense of they don't come they're not your, what do they say, immediate family, right? You may have brothers and sisters in this truth who through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you've built a bond with. And that bond, although you're of the same blood, as far as the same bloodline, because you're Israelites, you might not be from the same family. You might not be from the same household, right? You might not have the same mother and father. Then you may have certain brothers and sisters that are of the same immediate family, but you may be closer than other brothers and sisters because those siblings aren't in the truth. So the Most High has enabled y'all to form a bond, right, that's closer than your other siblings because you have a common foundation. You're like-minded, right? And if you want to have many friends, what this is teaching you, right? And I use many friends loosely, right? But you have to exhibit these attributes. You have to demonstrate the attributes in which you want someone to seek you for. Case in point, if you are a very rude person who has low morals, who you damn always cussing people out, right? You can't effectively communicate. Everything is always done with an attitude. How can you expect someone to want to be around you? So if you want to attract friendly people, or if you want to attract more, for the lack of a better word, if you want to attract certain characteristics in individuals to become friends with, you have to first be able to display those same things. All right. If you want somebody who's patient with you, you got to be patient with them. If you want somebody who's understanding with you, well, you got to be understanding as well. And it goes to even being a hypocrite. Here you are wanting all these attributes in friendship, but you're not even displaying these same type of attributes to it. And I don't mean like the law of attraction, but you have to be able to put out what you want to receive back in. All right. So that's what that precept is going into. But going back to this 2 Timothy, the 3rd chapter, think about this. Without natural affection, people just are so hateful. When you think about natural affection as Israelites, we're supposed to love one another. You're supposed to love your neighbor like you love yourself. That's supposed to be a natural thing. But because of the way that the world is in these last days, perilous times, people hate each other. We got so-called black on black crime running rampant. You have whole households. Literally, I have 2 cousins who was just in jail for damn fighting each other. You know what I mean? Like, you have literally sibling rivalry onto the death. You have different siblings that are at each other's throat because they're in opposing gangs. You got to really think about how the fabric of our culture is built on love and is built on being able to compassionately care for one another. These are the foundational things within building a community and within building healthy relationships and healthy friendships, right? Truce breakers. If you break a truce goes into an oath. Let's get this real quick. When you go into truce breakers, it says, without libation, without truce, admitting of no truce. All right. So basically, it's going into not being trustworthy. You got to think, when you make a truce with someone, you ultimately are entering an oath, whether that's verbal, whether it's non-verbal, it's an understanding. You've made a pact. So if you made a pact, that means I'm depending on you to uphold your end of the bargain. But if you're breaking your end of the bargain, then you're breaking the pact. You're breaking the truce that we've made, which means that you're now untrustworthy. You're now undependable, right? So we want to make sure that we're not being like the things that the scriptures say bring forth perilous times. Because if so, you're adding to the wickedness of the world as opposed to adding to the righteousness of the world. And these are things you really got to ask yourself, where do you line up at? All right. Are you a truce breaker? False accusers. Are you a liar? At the end of the day, a lot of friendships go awry or go bad because people lie on each other for all types of reasons. A lot of people, as they say in the world, they're clout chasing. They're chasing clout. They want to know, and they want to be able to see, they want to be able to see and understand, how do they get the best approach of, or how do they get the best, the most notoriety. You have people who are simply around you because of what you have, who you are, who you're around, not because of what they can contribute to you guys' relationship or friendship, but what they can get from you. You literally have people who, will lie on you just to get a better position. You have people who will take advantage of, who will lie on you just to try to, justify whatever their intentions are. And what I mean by that, let's just say you have a certain friend, but the whole time that friend, and we see this in the book of Sirach, they want to take your spot. And here comes an opportunity for them to lie on you, right? So that therefore you can be held in a certain type of light. And then that person the whole time had intentions of overthrowing you and taking your position. So here came the opportunity for them to make you look like that you were the wicked person, or that you were undependable, or that you were untrustworthy, so that they can bring trust to their side. It's a lot of different type of things that go down, y'all. And you have to really realize that the scriptures are here for our learning. It teaches us the roadmap, the blueprint, to be able to see what's really going on, to be able to use wisdom, to have discernment. And discernment is key in building strong, effective relationships. And when I say relationships, I'm not always talking about intimacy, right? Friendships, brotherhood, sisterhood, being able to have trustful, dependable people. And it says despisers of those that are good, right? And I want to get this. Let me see. What is this precept? Let me get it. Right? Because basically, let me get this quick precept real quick. Man, I got a precept on the tip of my tongue. What's the precept? I believe it's in Proverbs that says those, and I'm roughly paraphrasing, that those who contend against the righteous are for the wicked, or something of that nature, right? Precept's not coming to mind, but I'm roughly paraphrasing the precept that I'm thinking about, right? But you don't want to be in a situation where you're a despiser of those that are good. And we see that happen in the world, like a big thing is with this LBGT situation. If you speak against wickedness, right? Oh, that's another precept too, real quick. We call evil good and good evil, right? This is another example. It's not the precept I was looking for, but Isaiah 5:20 says, "Woe unto them that call evil good and good evil, that put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter." You don't want to be like that, man. You don't want to be the type of person that is a despiser of those that are good. You call the things that are righteous wicked, and you call the things that are wicked good. You approve those things. So this is a foundational lesson in terms of how to foster good relationships, how not to be seen or to be indulgent in those characteristics that are wicked. All right, from that perspective, I'm going to get Wisdom of Solomon real quick on the 14th chapter. So it's the book, the Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 14, verse 24. They kept their lives nor marriages any longer undefiled, but either one slew another traitorously or grieved him by adultery. You have a lot of people who are just untrustworthy in relationships, right? And this is on both sides. You have men who are whoremongers, right? You have men who you may think, and this goes to using wisdom as well, man. If your so-called friend is too friendly with your wife, your significant other, if your wife is too friendly with other men, you better watch out. You better be wise and take heed to what the hell is going on, all right? Be wise, because people are very treacherous. You have certain sisters who, they can't keep their legs closed, right? And they're enticed and they're lured. They're over-sexualized, right? And they don't have discretion. You have to be able to realize these type of characteristics and traits, and you have to protect yourself, and you have to call a spade a spade. Don't be naive to what the hell is going on. Nah, it's cool. That's just my best friend. He's pushing up on your wife. He's pushing up in your wife. But you're too blind because you're too naive to know. Every time you come around, hey, this brother, every opportunity he gets, he finds a way where he's right next to your wife. And it's, no, that's just my homeboy. That's him and my wife are just cool, and you being too trustworthy. You out of town and he's at your house. Treacherous. You cannot trust people, and you have to be able to, and that's why the scriptures teach us to prove a friend. And that proving process never stops, because the spirit can hop on anybody at any time. Now, you have certain men and certain women that you've built a bond with that, Lord willing, you built it to a level of where, based on the history of performance, based on the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, that you let them believe they moving in. Lord forbid it comes to anything like that, but you just never know. You have to be circumspect in all of your dealings, especially in building friendships, right? And this goes into marriages as well, because ultimately your husband, if you're a wife, your husband should be your best friend. And if you're a husband, your wife should be your best friend. All right, you got to really understand what we're saying. You got to think the Most High said the two shall become one, right? Christ said, what man, paraphrasing, ever hated his own body, right? You got to think, you got to love your wife like Salakia. I believe that was Paul who said that, Salakia, when he said you got to love your wife like Christ loved the church and gave himself for the church, right? And what man ever hated his own body, right? Ever hated himself in that sense. So you got to think, when it comes to even relationships and marriages, you should be building a strong foundation of friendship, reliability. You should be reliable. Your wife should know that you're dependable. Wives, Your husband should know that you're reliable and dependable, trustworthy, honest. And a lot of times there's a lack of honesty in relationships because there's no there's no open communication. You know, it's like, okay, we can't even talk about certain things because I'm afraid that it's going to go left. You got to be able to have an open, and I use the word, I got to watch when I say an open relationship because the world's so damn wicked. People are swinging and all type of things. So I don't mean open relationship in that sense. I mean, you have to have open communication in your relationship. You have to be able to have healthy conversations. And some of those conversations sometimes are going to be hard. Hard in the sense that it may not be a topic that's all peaches and bubble gums. Everything is not a damn joke. Everything is not joy and mirth and laughter. It's going to be some hard conversations in friendships and relationships. And those are the things that make them solid. That's how you build a strong foundation that's not easily shaken or stirred, because through the test of time by Shem Yahushai, you're going to be tried and you're going to be able to establish how to get through hardships. These are critical components in building a godly, righteous relationship and friendships. If it's always just everything is all good, and that friendship or that relationship is not going to last long, because you're not going to have the understanding, and you're not going to have the capability. Now, you can do all things through Christ, Hamashiach, woman like Yahushua, who strengthen you, but you're not going to have the experience on how to maneuver through just hardship, right? And I see a lot of friendships or relationships, when they go through hard times, they crack because everything was so superficial. It was so surface level. There was no real depth to it, right? They really didn't know each other. They really didn't love each other because they didn't know each other. They really didn't have each other's best, what is called best, man, I'm drawing. It's been a long day. Best, yeah, I know what I'm trying to say. Not best intentions. Lord, forgive me. The word is escaping my mind right now. Salaki, y'all. It's been a long day, but you just gotta watch out, man. You really gotta watch it, because if you don't have a solid friendship or a solid relationship, and if you don't understand the things that make a solid relationship, right? You know, you have to have loyal people around you. Let's get this really quick. I'm gonna get 1 Kings, 1st chapter. You gotta have 1 Kings, Kings. You gotta have loyal people around you. Let's see how David operated, because a lot of times too, people don't have loyal people around them because they're not loyal themselves. And if you're not loyal yourself, if you're an untrustworthy, unloyal person, you're not going to be able to identify and be able to acknowledge others that have those loyal traits in them, because you're not loyal yourself, right? So you want to build a circle of people who are loyal, who you can depend on. And the foundation of that is making sure that you guys have the same biblical morals, right? Let's look at King David. Book of 1 Kings, chapter 1, and I'm going to jump down to verse 5. Then Adoniah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself, saying, I will be king. And he prepared him chariots and horsemen and 50 men to run before him, right? Now, this is David's son, all right, saying that he's going to be king. Now, you got to think, at this time, David was old. So here he is. He's old. He's stricken in years. He had to get the Shunammite, right? The young damsel to keep him warm. And while King David's health is deteriorating, he had his son rise up against him. Then I'm going to get this quick precept as well, right? We got to think what Yahushua warned us of in Luke. I'm going to get Luke, the 12th chapter. Luke chapter 12, verse 53. The father shall be divided against the son, and the son against the father, the mother against the daughter, and the daughter against the mother, and the mother-in-law against her daughter-in-law, and the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. And he also, where is that? In the man's foes. What am I looking for? 1 second. Let me get this real quick. Want to get to the point. Right? Let me get it in Matthew really quick. Matthew 10:36, and this goes with that Luke. And a man's foes shall be they of his own household. Now, this isn't anything new. We see this in the book of 1 Kings. When you get right here to the 5th verse, then Adoniah, the son of Haggith, exalted himself. Adoniah is David's son, saying, I will be king, and he prepared him chariots and horsemen and 50 men to run before him. And his father had not displeased him at any time, saying, why hast thou done so? And he also was a very goodly man, and his mother bare him after Absalom. And he conferred with Joab, the son of Zeruiah, and with Abiathar the priest, and they followed Adoniah, and they following Adoniah helped him. So these men weren't loyal right here, right? But Zadok the priest, and Benaniah the son of Jehoiada, and Nathan the prophet, and Shimei, and Rei, and the mighty men which belonged to David were not with Adoniah. See, David had some loyal men around him. He had some disloyal men as well. So you have to be able to build a circle of loyal people who are around you, who you can depend on, all right? Because you had treacherous men such as such as Adoniah, for an example, who were trying to exalt themselves. Like you have people in the book of Sirach. I want to get this really quick. In the book of Sirach, that goes into how you have certain people who want to stand up in your place, right? They want to overthrow you. You know what I'm saying? Their true colors come to the light. All right. I believe is that Sirach. Is that the 14th chapter I'm looking for? Is that Salakia, y'all? What it says, I'm paraphrasing, set him not by thee lest he overthrow you. I believe that's Sirach. 1 second. I don't know where all the precepts are, y'all. I'll be paraphrasing. But I believe it's in Sirach. Sirach, the 12th chapter. Salakia. Sirach, the 12th chapter. I'm going to read up a little bit. Bam. And this goes back into never trust thy enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and beware of him. And we often use this bringing out talking about the other nations, but tonight I'm going to use it in the context as well of your own people. And thou should be unto him as if thou hast wiped the looking glass, and thou shalt know that his rust has not been altogether wiped away. Basically, you're going to be able to see his true intention. Set him not by thee, lest when he hath overthrown thee, he stand up in thy place. Neither let him sit at thy right hand, lest he seek to take thy seat. And thou at the last, remember my words and be pricked therewith. You got to watch it, man. I'm going to get to Sirach, the 6th chapter, too, while I'm here. Because a lot of times you have people who, they're not a faithful friend. They can't stand up with you in a time of trouble. Or a lot of times you're not a faithful friend. Are you that dependable friend who can stand up for somebody in a time of trouble? Or are you that person who is undependable and is a backstabber, right? Like that song, Backstabbers. So I'm going to start Sirach chapter 6. And man, this whole thing is good. Man, I'm just gonna read damn near the whole chapter. Instead of a friend, become not an enemy, for thereby thou shalt inherit an ill name, shame and reproach. Even so shall a sinner that hath a double tongue. You know, you may have certain friends that all they do is they talk behind your back. And that's a double tongue, right? And you don't want to be changed into an enemy from a friend. You don't want to be known as a distrustful person, an ill name. You know, a good name is more precious than gold or riches, right? Extol not thyself in the counsel of thy own heart, that thy soul be not torn to pieces as a bull straying alone. Right? I'm going to skip down. It says, verse 5, sweet language will multiply friends, and a fair speaking tongue will increase kind greetings. You want to have a disposition of kindness, right? But you also want to watch out too, because everybody likes a giver of gifts. Everybody likes to be around someone who they can receive something, but you got to watch that out as well, because watch for that. Some people utilize that, like the scripture say, a gift destroyeth the heart, to try to overthrow your judgment and to try to put pull wool over your eyes, because they're just giving, but they have ulterior motives. All right. Be in peace with many, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. Now this is very key, because it's saying, look, you could be acquaintances. You know, you may know certain people that you're on a speaking basis, but you don't be so quick to trust everybody. Prove a friend. All right. That's why it says, nevertheless have but one counselor of 1,000. It's telling you to be circumspect when choosing friends. Right? Don't just telling all your business to everybody. You're trusting everybody. You're getting advice from everybody. You know, now you just toss to and fro. If thou would get a friend, the context about having one counselor out of 1,000, if you would get that one counselor out of 1,000, prove him first and be not hasty to credit him. Right? That's wise counsel. For some men is a friend for his own occasion, and will not abide in the day of trouble. Some people are only there for their own selfish reasons. But as soon as you go through something, skedaddle, scram, they gone. And they out of there. Right? And there's a friend who, being turned to enmity and strife, will discover thy reproach. So some friends, it may be certain beefs and certain things that you get into with that friend, and now that friend is backbiting. Now that friend discovers that you've gone through a certain type of situation, and they're reproaching you. All right. It says, and there's a friend who, being turned to enmity, that means you started off as friends, but now something happened in your friendship that now y'all fell out. Now y'all enemies. And again, some friend is a companion at the table and will not continue in the day of thy affliction. When you think about when everything is good, whether you up, a lot of times they say, look, when you up, everybody's there with you. But when you down, those same people that were at your table, eating from your table when you was up, hey, they know where to be found. Or you call on them when you're in need, and they're not dependable, right? But whenever they called on you, you were dependable. All right. It says, but in thy prosperity, he will be as thyself and will be bold over thy service. It's kind of like you winning. That's your homeboy. That's your homegirl. Hey, what you eat, they eat. And they driving your cars, right? If you got it, they got it. If they bold over your servants, in the sense of, in the ancient days, let's say you had servants or, people who were at your service in your home or in your estate, and they bossing your servants around like they're their servants. It's your ace boon coon. But as soon as hardship comes, or as soon as there's something that happens that brings reproach, and they're out of there. They're undependable. But you never really proved them. You had them around, but your friendship wasn't tested, wasn't tried and true. You let them in too fast. And they let you in too fast. These are things that the scripture is teaching us practical wisdom on how to maneuver, how to be a good friend, how to be loyal, how to be trustworthy, how to be proven, and how to prove a friend. Nothing doth countervail a faithful friend, and his excellency is invaluable. A faithful friend is the medicine of life, and they that fear Yahweh shall find him. You wonder why you keep having these bad relationships, these bad friendships, all of this turmoil, these toxic people around you, it's because you're a damn toxic person yourself. You don't fear the Lord. You don't fear the Lord. You don't even know the Lord. So obviously you're going to keep getting these bad apples because y'all from the same fruit, from the same tree. You know? So you have to begin to cleanse your spirit, to cleanse, because, you know, spirits know each other, right? Like if you got to think about, I want to get this quick precept real quick. You got to think this, I always, I always think about this precept when I think about what happened. Let me get this book of Acts. Acts chapter 19. Oh man, my bad. I unshared the screen on accident. My bad, y'all. Bear with me. Acts chapter 19 and verse 15, and it reads, "And the evil spirit answered and said, Yahweh I know, and Paul I know, but who are ye? And the man in whom the evil spirit was leaped on them and overcame them and prevailed against them. So they fled out of the house naked and wounded." Now, why through the spirit I came here is because a lot of times these wicked spirits, they know who else has a wicked spirit, right? They know who they're equally yoked to. So you keep having all of these bad relationships, all of these bad friendships, all that, because your spirit ain't right. You're attracted like-minded spirits. So you first have to cleanse your own house. You have to cleanse your own spirit. And then you can have expectation, Lord willing, for the Most High to guide you to people who also have a righteous spirit from that perspective. But with that, I want to close up. We give all glory, praise, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach, Wamalak Yahushai. Lord willing, this was edifying in terms of beginning to build up your spirit, to know how to build healthy relationships, healthy friendships, to be able to understand what are the things, what is the list of things that make a healthy friendship? What are the goals? What are your friendship goals? How do you obtain them, right? What should you be looking for? What are red flags, and so forth and so on. But with that, we give you all praise. We give all praise, glory, and honor to the Most High God, Yahweh. We do so by Shema Mashiach, Wamalak Yahushai, Kwam Yashab, Shalom.